This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Hello, bright soul. I'm coming to you from a beautiful Colorado day. It's very sunny. We had some snow, but it wasn't hard to remove, so I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the snow because I had some sod put in right before the winter. This is just when my yard people could come out, and I watered it a lot before I turned my sprinkler system off. And then I even did some winter watering, and now that the snow is here, I don't have to worry about it because it's getting plenty of moisture. So I'm really working on shifting my gratitude for the snow because all seasons serve a purpose. So isn't that a change from a year last year? I can't say it's going to stick, but that's part of what I was going to talk about today in the podcast. And that is telling yourself a new story. And I'm at a point on this path where I'm more and more mindful of the repetitive things that people say and the repetitive things that I say that keep you stuck. One of the things, it's interesting, it comes in themes. So there must be an energetic theme in the world to where the comments and the feedback and the emails and even some things that we're working through in private sessions come up in clusters. And one of the things toward the end of the year was everyone thinks they're being psychically attacked. You're not being psychically attacked. Stop it. Stop telling yourself that story. Most of the time, when people think they're being psychically attacked, it's their own purging. It's their own karma. It could be from this lifetime or another lifetime, but they're so focused on people being against them that they energize it, pull it into the aura, and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know I did a podcast on this about being mindful of our own thoughts and feelings and how those of us who are energetically sensitive, you can get a sense or a hunch when maybe something is off or someone is trying to connect or tell you something. But here's the deal. When you are doing your spiritual work, you're giving to charity, you're doing your meditation practice, you're exercising your body, you are doing constancy of aim and effort, you are developing your character, you're staying in the light, those things don't impact you because your light is so bright. Imagine being the sun. The rays are radiating out. They're radiating out and they're so bright. Do you think if a fly was angry and lodged itself at the sun, that it would harm the sun? No, it wouldn't. But if you sit there and you spend all your energy getting readings and finding people that are going to tell you that same story about how someone is out to get you, you make it bigger and you also pull it into your auric field. So when we do shields, but then you sit and think about it and obsess and you get readings and you talk about it and you're the victim and this, that, and the other, you're just making it worse and you're pulling it into your aura and you're recreating it. So in pranic healing, it's pretty funny because I can tell that Master Co is also tired of people thinking that they're psychically attacked because it's so common in the spiritual world. And it's like, stop it. When you are on the spiritual path, you have entered into an accelerated program. So when you're on this path, you're seeking the light, your consciousness is expanding, you're being called to be a beacon for others. You learn your lessons quicker because you're in a gifted program. Now, with that, if you had a bunch of karma that was sitting from old seeds, it's going to circulate quicker for you. Also, when you're purging things out and these emotions are coming up and you're getting rid of old things and you're shedding away old tendencies, the cleansing cycle happens quicker. So it's like if you're in a washing machine and you put it on the slow cycle, it's kind of nice and steady. But if you put it on the quick rinse, it goes quickly. So that's why it feels like sometimes every time you turn around, the rug's getting yanked because you're on an accelerated path. So the remedy for this is create more good karma. Stop energizing that. Shield yourself. Do your meditation practice. Do more good. We want to give as much as possible because it partially neutralizes the negative karma. So the law of karma is good and bad. It's just a law. It isn't necessarily associated with a certain belief. It's just a law of the land. The more good I do, the more good comes back to me. If I'm doing crappy, then crappy's going to come back to me. So that is just the law. So when you want to work with the law, and even if there wasn't a law, you and I are on the path of healing and helping and being a beneficial presence on the planet. We want to shed ancestral patterns. We want to create a new cycle in our family system. That's what we are here to do. That's why we group together. So you use the law to just say, I want to do as much good as possible. I want to focus on the energies that I want to align with, because that's the other thing. We're so powerful. When you focus on how you feel and the energy that you want to align with, you pull it into your aura. So if you're focused on, I'm a victim, nothing works out for me. Why can't this work out for me? This person's against me. Oh, this person's been attacking me for all these years. And I'm not talking about physically. I mean, if you need to get a restraining order, I'm talking about energetic things where people think that somebody is psychically against them. And maybe people do wish harm on you. I have a public platform and haters listen to this podcast. It is just a fact. People from my past listen to this podcast. People that I don't want to interact with anymore, that I'm not interacting with anymore. And they have free will choice. I cannot stop that, and they're free to do it. However, I know that because of the work that I'm doing and I'm pulling the work down, I'm following my intuition. I am making conscious contact on a daily basis. I know that I am protected. And if something happens, it's because there's something I need to learn. So my viewpoint is if they're lodging bad stuff at me, that bad stuff is coming back to them. If they're wishing harm on me, the harm comes back to them. All I can do is focus on my own character development and what I'm doing, how I'm showing up. How people treat me is their karma, and how I respond is mine. So that is one piece. The second piece is we're in the new year now. We are on the tail end of this energy that we've been dealing with for the past few years, and it is a new season. People are feeling renewed. We're in 2024. Who do you need to become? What piece of your story do you need to change to step into this new awareness, these new goals, this new person that you want to become? In order to create something new, you've got to do something new. And it starts in our mind. It starts with, what are you telling yourself? Because oftentimes the only thing that is stopping us is us. It is our repetitive thoughts, our repetitive behaviors, our repetitive conversations, the repetitive content that we swim in. So where is it that you need to shift and tell yourself a new story? Now, when you are shifting into something new, it feels uncomfortable because it's new for you. Just like trying anything, if you all of a sudden try to write with your non-dominant hand, it's going to feel really strange. It's going to take practice. So the practice is the work. It's not a shortcut. It's not a quick fix. You know, a lot of times people look at the energy and healing world, they'll book a 30-minute private session with a 50-year list of all of these problems with the expectation that I am going to come in without them doing anything, without them changing, doing their own work, meditating, keeping their aura clean, stopping the substances that are keeping them stuck, all the things that might come out in a private session. And it doesn't work like that because you wouldn't learn anything. Now, I'm not saying miracles can't happen, but it's because they can. There would have to be a seed there and an energetic intervention, which does happen. I'm not saying it does not. It does happen. But I think it's important to manage your expectations. You have to do the heavy lifting to go through whatever lesson you need to learn to shift inside of you. Oftentimes, when something is not working, it shows us how we want things to be. So sometimes we don't know what we don't want, or we don't know what we do want until we know what we don't want. So there's always an opportunity to birth something new, a new version of you. So what I wanted to come on here and say is, when you find yourself telling yourself that same old story that weighs you down, that keeps you stuck, that makes you feel frustrated, that puts you in lack, stop yourself. You can literally out loud say, stop. Instead of talking about what you don't want and what used to be, allow yourself to step into what you do want. Allow yourself to expand into that being that is available to you. If you desire it, you deserve it. That's one of the things that Sam Skelly says in Breathwork. If you desire it, you deserve it. So if we want something, it requires a change. You have to become what you are wanting. So the other way you can do this is ask yourself, what would a person who is, let me just make something up. What is a person who is connected to their intuition, who feels safe and secure, who is the embodiment of wealth, the embodiment of health? How would that person show up in the world? How would that feel? And sit in that feeling and embrace that vibration for as long as possible. This is how you begin to reattune your energetic identity. And that is really all I wanted to offer. If you want to join my Patreon now, I have been making announcements because I always record these podcasts ahead of time so I can get ahead of it. But I did create 2 tiers. I am kind of building this plane as it flies. However, I am receiving guidance about the type of content I'm going to put in. I am going to write your name in my golden notebook to energize it at the end of my meditations. If you're part of my YouTube community, if you're a client of mine, past, present, or even future, if you are part of my newsletter, I already send you energy and thank you so much. I thank God for you at the end of my meditation. This, I'm going to physically write your name in my book so that you get a double dose of that energy. Also, I am going to give you, depending on the tier that you join, a discount on private sessions. And we're going to do some random giveaways at certain times. And I'm really gathering your input about what you want for the value. Now, the value is really about you exchanging. It is an energetic exchange. So you are supporting so that you are supported. And this is in everything. And it's just a way to connect with you more personally, because honestly, I cannot keep up with the emails and the comments. I do my best, but sometimes it gets missed. So it's not a substitute for private sessions. One of the things is I want to make it a positive environment. I don't want it to be an environment where people just come in and unload their stuff. In order to do that, you should book a private session so that I can work with you personally and clean that away. But we don't want to slime the group, because most people that are drawn to my work are sensitive. So we want to keep it super positive, super high vibe, and for it to be a supportive healing pod as you walk through this journey, as we're evolving. This year, I want to bring some new things into being, a new energetic footprint for all of us to create and be who you came here to be, and to give your world the gifts that are inside you that need to be birthed. And I know that looks different for everyone. So I wanted to create a space where we could come together and support one another on this journey. And that my Patreon link will be in the show notes below. So that's on my Patreon. Okay, let's go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing, and I will turn the healing on. Okay, and so it is. And friends, if you haven't left me a review on iTunes, you can do so over on iTunes on the Apple platform. And again, you can join my Patreon. The link is below. And I want to wish you the most beautiful week. Oh, I appreciate you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.